A couple of online gamers were selected to join a gaming tournament. The winner takes home $100,000. Suddenly, an AI voice welcomes them and instructs them to sign in using the tablets provided. After doing so, they're told to deposit all valuables and electronic devices into the lockers, and to put on the motion capture suits that have been provided. As they're dressing up, we learn that Shelley is a nurse, Carl had suffered an accident. Marco basically lives in the gym, Andre is a soldier, Adam is a gamer and he's super excited, and Taylor is afraid of her own shadow. As they move into another room, the voice directs them to step onto the scanner and state their gamer tags. After going through the scanner, the contestants are required to put on the VR gaming suits. The helmet secures itself by the neck, chin, and jaw to ensure player safety during the game. Zahid thinks this is a bad idea and tries to leave, but soon realizes leaving is not an option. Once everyone has put the helmets on, the entire room transforms into a war zone in a matter of seconds. The players are completely transformed into soldiers. They all start laughing. They can't believe this kind of technology exists. While most of them are excited to be here, Zahid thinks it's a bad idea. Adam comments that it's like he died and went to gamer heaven. Suddenly, a sergeant walks in and orders them to stand in line. He starts yelling at them and telling them to shut up. They all have to take off their masks to make sure the man isn't actually there. He's just an NPC. He then tells them to follow him. He leads them into a room where they will practice shooting. Andre checks to make sure the guns are just toys. The sergeant shows them how to shoot, and Adam immediately starts firing, but misses every shot. Meanwhile, Andre shows off his military skills, and Edward doesn't miss a single shot either. After everyone has tried their weapon, the sergeant informs them that if they get hit, the first shot will cost them their armor. The second will cost them their life. In case they get shot, they'll have to use a medkit. There's one for each player. He then announces that the building has been overrun with highly trained terrorists. Their job is to kill all the terrorists as they make their way to the ground floor. Then the voice starts a countdown and announces that the game has begun. Zahid complains that it actually hurt when the sergeant shot him. As the group slowly moves through the building, step by cautious step, checking every angle, suddenly, one of the terrorists jumps out and starts shooting at them. Andre goes full ninja mode and takes him down. He then tries to touch the dead terrorist, and the whole group is amazed by what just happened. Still convinced they're only playing a game, the voice then instructs them to proceed to the next level. As Andre stands on top of the ladder with his first kill, the whole group proceeds to the second level. The AI voice instructs them to collect their new weapons. Andre picks up an M4 and teaches his teammates how to use it. Then, the voice announces that the level is activated. Andre leads the group into another room, but Marco is impatient and pushes forward. Suddenly, one of the terrorists jumps out, and Marco gets his first kill. Everyone gets excited and rushes in, eager to score one for themselves. One of them nearly kills Adam and even fires at Andre, but then decides to run away, and Andre chases after him. Meanwhile, Adam finds himself face to face with a terrorist just sitting there casually. Still, Adam manages to miss every single shot. Luckily, Andre shows up, kills the terrorist, but loses his armor in the process. The group that stayed behind now appears to be surrounded, and Taylor is having a breakdown, saying she shouldn't be here, that she only came in her friend's place. Shelley tries to shoot one of the enemies but freezes up. The terrorist spots them, but Carl jumps out and takes him down. Another one, however, appears and shoots Carl in the back. As Carl turns, he gets shot in the stomach. Shelley then decides to clutch and sees Carl begging in agony for someone to stop the game. She immediately takes off her VR to make sure he's not actually hurt, but Carl insists that something is wrong. Andre shows up and gives him the medkit. Carl's wound heals instantly, and he gets up, takes off the VR, and throws up, telling his teammates this is not just a game. He explains to the team that he felt real pain and thought he was going to die. While Adam finds a pack of grenades, Zahid is completely freaking out, saying he can't take the headset off. He accuses Andre of being part of a military experiment, and Marco agrees, claiming Andre is their man on the inside. As the voice announces the level is activated, Andre gets offended and heads to the bathroom. Inside the game, every dead terrorist starts respawning. He hears someone open the door, but there's no one behind him. He quickly tries to put on the VR again, but it's too late. Sadly, Andre had already used his medkit on Carl. The group hears gunfire and starts investigating. One of the enemies emerges from the darkness and shoots Edward in the chest. The group instantly falls apart, everyone running to hide. Edward uses his medkit, and Adam is proving completely useless. Taylor is having a full breakdown, begging to be let out of the game. Adam then throws one of the grenades and miraculously kills all of the enemies. At the same time, Andre is desperately crawling toward his team, but his helmet begins counting down, then electrocutes him until he dies. The team finds him shortly after. Shelly tries to resuscitate him, but can only confirm his death. Suddenly, the entire team starts trying to remove their helmets. Zahid rushes to grab the fire extinguisher, and Carl agrees to help him. As the voice announces the level has begun, Carl hits Zahid's helmet a few times, but to no avail. The sergeant's voice fills the room, and everyone puts on their VR headsets. He storms towards Zahid and begins violently beating him, while yelling that there will be no deserters in his station. As the sergeant leaves, Zahid looks at his team sadly and tells them they're not getting out of here alive. The group slowly moves down another floor, cautiously stepping into the next level, except for Zahid, who walks in like he's entering a bar. There, the sergeant informs them of a gas leak on this floor. Any shooting would cause an explosion, so in this level, they must use knives only. One of the terrorists nearly gets Edward from behind, but Marco saves him just in time. Taylor is still crying non-stop. The rest of the team is actually being useful, refilling ammunition into their firearms. Then the voice tells them to proceed to the next level. As the team progresses through the levels, they get harder. In this one, Adam gets shot and screams in pain on the floor. Just as Shelly is about to help him, Carl also gets shot, and she's put in a very difficult position. But Marco clutches, killing all the terrorists and using his medkit on Carl, while Shelly uses hers to help Adam. Carl then gets an idea and tries to break the building's glass with his gun. Zahid joins in, pushing a heavy object against the window. He hits it again, and it actually starts to crack. On his third attempt, the sergeant's creepy voice screams at him for trying to desert his military camp. Inside the game, he punches Zahid in the face. Zahid tries to run, but the sergeant catches him and kicks him down the stairs. Zahid falls badly and breaks his leg. When the team arrives, they realize his bone is sticking out. But inside the game, he looks completely fine. Zahid tells them to hide him and leave him behind. They quickly hide him behind the desk and proceed to the next level. The group finds a shotgun, but Marco gets shot in the butt. Taylor freaks out and runs away, hiding inside a bathroom. The team quickly kills the terrorist, and Shelly uses another medkit to save Marco. The last remaining terrorist hears Taylor crying in the bathroom. As he opens the door, she jumps out and stabs him with a knife, and the voice announces for them to proceed to the next level, where the sergeant appears to be torturing one of the terrorists. He informs them that there is a bomb placed in the building's foundations, and only this thug knows the codes to disarm it. Edward volunteers, takes the switch, and begins electrocuting the enemy. He asks him for the codes, and when the man says he doesn't have them, Edward puts him through even more pain. Everyone seems disturbed by the torture, but Edward looks like he's handling it just fine. The terrorist finally gives up the code, but when Adam inputs it, red lights appear, and the voice announces that the bomb has been activated and will explode in 30 minutes. The guy just starts laughing, for minutes, non-stop, until Taylor puts a bullet in his brain. Marco thinks it was all Adam's fault and tries to punch him. He then takes off his VR and hits him in the face, but the fight is stopped by the sergeant yelling for them to hurry. The team rushes over as the sergeant holds the lift door open for them. The lift goes down a few floors but suddenly stops for no reason. Marco manages to open the door and holds it for his team to pass, but when he tries to go before Adam, they both get stuck, which might actually be a good thing, because the lift continues downward and skips 2 levels. As they step out, Atlas hears Russian voices speaking in the dark and wastes all of his shotgun shells for nothing. They hear the voices getting closer, and Marco tells Adam to go first. Adam spots one and unloads his entire magazine to take him down. Then Marco points a gun at Adam and tells him to go first. He pushes him forward until he falls. As an enemy steps out, Marco runs away, leaving Adam with no bullets. As soon as Adam gets up, he gets shot, and Marco just stands there listening as his teammate dies. He then hides and waits until he hears the rest of the team arriving. Marco moves silently through the shadows while his team is fighting for their lives. While everyone is covering her, Taylor runs off to search for more medkits. The voice announces that detonation will occur in 12 minutes. She finally finds one, but Marco grabs her, claiming he saw it first. When Taylor refuses to give it to him, he shoots her in the stomach and leaves her there to die. Outside, he runs into Carl, who asks if he's seen Taylor, but Marco just follows the footsteps of an enemy. When Carl opens the door and finds Taylor dead, he freaks out. Then he notices a name written in blood on the door. Atlas, Marco's gamertag. Carl immediately takes off the VR and jumps on Marco to choke him. Marco manages to knock him down and frees himself. As he slowly walks over to grab the gun, Carl hits him with a fire extinguisher. Marco kicks him in the nuts and tells him that he has a helmet and didn't even feel a thing. Still, Carl keeps laughing. Just as Marco lifts the gun to finish him, the sergeant's voice fills the room, warning them they've been told not to tamper with the equipment. He knocks Marco down and begins choking him, while in real life, the helmet starts electrocuting him until he dies. The 3 remaining players head to the final level. The final level equips them with a bazooka, grenades, and more bullets, As they step in, the voice announces 5 minutes until detonation. Carl spots one and kills him with ease. Edward also kills one but nearly gets shot in the process. Luckily, Shelley steps in and takes the enemy down. More attackers rush in as she runs to hide next to Carl. Edward fires but misses. Carl then jumps out and throws a grenade. It lands perfectly. The voice announces 3 minutes until detonation. As the team approaches the bomb, a terrorist with a machine gun rains bullets on them. Carl gets hit, while Edward and Shelley manage to take cover. Seeing Carl dying, Shelley panics and wastes all her bullets trying to kill the enemy. Just as Carl prepares to use his medkit on himself, Shelley gets shot too. She screams in pain, and Edward is unable to help her. Carl steps up, takes a few more bullets, and uses his medkit on her. Her wounds heal instantly, while he lays down to die. Shelley can only watch and realize what would have happened to her if Carl hadn't made that sacrifice. The voice announces 20 seconds to detonation. Edward immediately rushes toward the bomb as the timer counts down. At the very last second, he jumps and hits the button to stop the detonation. While Shelley cries over Carl's death, the sergeant shows up and tells them that fortune truly favors the brave. But as he continues giving them his motivational speech, Shelley notices something really creepy. The sergeant's voice is actually coming from Edward. When the sergeant leaves, Shelley is left in total shock. The VR suddenly disappears. Edward is now joined by his team of workers. Shelley tries to shoot them, but the rifle is just a toy now. They inject her with something to put her to sleep. Every bit of data, every player, everything is getting deleted. The players' belongings are being cleaned up, and the bodies are obviously ready to be removed. Edward is packing up all the toys when Shelley suddenly wakes up. He approaches her and gives her a bag full of money, commenting that he never thought she'd make it to the end. Another man approaches and tries to put her back to sleep, but she stabs him with his own injection. She then takes his gun and shoots out the lights. Edward immediately orders his men to find her. Gunshots echo in the dark. Then, Shelley steps out, pointing a gun at him. She throws the bag of money at him. Her only thought is that this game can never be played again, and she shoots him in the head. She then just walks away, without the money, which pisses me off. She leaves the building, without the money, which really annoys me. And that's where the film ends. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video. Thanks for watching.